What's up, everyone? Happy Monday, happy week. Welcome back to another stream. Pre-market analysis today, 1 hour early. Tomorrow we are going to be back at 7, I presume. What a day, right? So volatility for a Monday, it has been more volatile than expected, which is quite interesting. And again, it was expected based on what we also looked at and the news that we had today. Today was a day with the manufacturing and services PMI, so we were expecting some volatility. It looked like that in the morning the dollar was ready to go to the moon and all the other dollar pairs to just move to the downside, but apparently a few hours later there was a turnaround and we saw the pound, for example, breaking new highs. Euro not so much, still respecting the high, but we saw a turn on the dollar. Yen pairs are also quite active. We saw oil finally faking out that last high, reacting from the support resistance and dropping quite aggressively. And if you did manage, or if you're looking to trade the indices, well, good luck. They were a little bit terrible to trade. A lot of ranging market without any good momentum whatsoever. Actually moving slightly to downside, but completely in a range. Much better to look at commodities and FX today in terms of opportunities. In terms of the news, as you can see in here, it doesn't look good at all in Germany and France. The manufacturing continues to be lower. Again, we had DAX breaking all-time highs last week. Now continue to slightly move to the downside. But let's see if eventually all these rate cuts from the ECB, it starts helping a little bit the economy in the Eurozone, because it doesn't look good, especially the manufacturing. The services PMI also decreased comparing where we were last time. In the UK, it's still above 50, so it still shows expansion, but it was also slightly lower. And in the US, also the manufacturing much worse than expected, and the service is still quite strong at 55. So that's basically the news that we have, or that we had. Tomorrow we have an Reserve Bank of Australia announcing another interest rate. The expectation is to remain the same for now, and we'll see what's going to happen in the future. And then you have consumer confidence in the US at 3 p.m. And then you carry on with CPI in Australia, Swiss National Bank on Thursday, and then GDP and Fetcher Powell speaking on Friday. Let's take a look at the market. Let's take a look at the movement, starting with the dollar index. We mentioned that we were looking for the dollar to break this high in order to start looking slightly more for confirmation of to the upside. Again, bigger picture, we are definitely, or we finally reacted from the level that we wanted to look, or that we were looking for in the bigger picture before a potential move to the upside. Again, it can still continue to go slightly lower, but at least we finally had the touch into this level, proper fake out of all these lows in here. So that part is accomplished, like we mentioned, and that was with the Fed and 1 week ago on Wednesday. Since then, price started to slowly started to move to the upside, and we were for a moment within this range. That low was a reaction from that fresh level, and we start managing to break today with this move to the upside in here. And price is back at the demand zone, like basically which price is back at the demand zone, and we'll see what's going to happen in here. But you start breaking a little bit at level, we'll see if price by any chance going to create PA and continue to go to the upside. Again, in the bigger picture, we are a little bit more within this range as well. All right, so that's actually a little bit of the levels that I'm still expecting eventually the dollar index to go towards 2, and it can still respect this level. If you break above this level, then I'm much more bullish in this scenario. I would already be with this bias if this low or this high had broken these highs before the move to the downside. That never happened. So I'm still cautious a little bit in here. So let's see how price and the dollar may react from this level. All right, so that was something that we were looking for, a little bit of a potential break above this structure, start looking slightly for longs, but let's see from where. All right, maybe price wants to go all the way, fake out these lows one more time before making a move to the upside, and that's maybe something to bear in mind in here on the dollar index. right? So we'll see in a bit how that's going to happen, how to play out. Again, the indices in a complete range, so there was that initial move as well in the morning, and then since the US Open is just in a range, the S&P included, Nasdaq respected perfectly that extreme. Again, those reactions in here, unfortunately for me, it did happen like 5-6 a.m. in the morning UK time, so there's not really opportunity to enter. Then price just moved to the downside. It was similar on the euro, on pound, and so on. That initial move to the downside that I was looking for, it how happened, or the extremes, price reacted from the extremes at around 5-6 a.m. in the morning. It was impossible for me to catch, and then with the news, price was already kind of halfway through, and again momentum. So we'll see as well in here on Nas. Again, Nasdaq, as I described, I'm still looking for price to eventually go above this high in here, so I'm still slightly more bullish on Nasdaq until price gets into this level in here. All right, so that's a little bit more of what I'll be looking for a potential short. Let it go higher a little bit more, let it create more liquidity around these highs before we have the move to the upside and then the turn. And if price doesn't just stop in here, then you're going to be looking a little bit more to the upside. I think around this level there's going to be some opportunities to look for shorts, especially if price continues to create more highs around this level, because this starts to attract many people to look for sales at around this level in here. So people are trying to kind of, it starts to attract as a level of resistance in here, so people are going to be looking to short it. We had also this kind of break of a low in there, so that looks nice, and eventually we're going to have that push higher, and then you'll see like one of two things are going to happen in here, which is basically either price now breaks it and respects this level, comes back in here and continues to go to the upside, or then eventually breaks downside and you start looking further down. And you still have this level in here where price can easily react from and bounce to the upside as well. So that's on Nasdaq. Dow as well, it may have faked out or created a new high in here, or maybe just respected it. Yeah, it created slightly new all-time high, then just bounced back into this level again. Can continue to go slightly higher, creating nice interesting liquidity at around this level in here. So that's basically what we have. And again, similar, even though we don't really have anything on the left side, it's going to be always a little bit trickier, but eventually I do believe that maybe this week we're going to at least retest this level, and then from this level in here, and from here maybe continue, or again eventually can break to the downside and go. Like if you start breaking below these lows, that's a different story. Start looking for a further move to the downside. We have that level as well in there, but at least this range in here I think could be filled this week. Again, you do need to break these lows as well for that to happen, right? So we play zone by zone in here, no need to rush too much. Now DAX had a nice move to the downside again with the news, so it created this low where to perfect, right? So basically fake out all those lows in there into this level, into that demand zone. So basically took all these lows that was well, and now reacted from basically one of the extremes in here at this lower range that we had. Nice ritual, basically Quasimodo, these left shoulders in there where price ended up reacting, and now it's moving to the upside, and maybe can have some reaction in here. I'm looking for potential some reaction around this level, to be honest as well, just above these highs. I think we could react a little bit, and then we'll see what's going to happen. Otherwise, price can go slightly into that level, so somewhere in here, or then eventually somewhere at the extreme. I think price can go towards 2, and let's see if not somewhere in here as well. All right, so that's a little bit dark, so go slightly higher into that level, and you'll see what's going to happen next in there. At crypto, we had a spike on BTC, still respecting this high in here, so we haven't really managed to break above that level of structure. And again, price, I'm looking for price to go slightly higher in here, but we are ranging a little bit as well, so we're starting to create this interesting range around this level, breaking some lows as well on the way up. So that's interesting, because that's a little bit of the reversal pattern that usually we can look for in here. Now question mark, is the price going to respect these highs, or are you going to go and fake out those highs before a potential push down and then continuation as well? Like, so again, I don't like when you start ranging a little bit. That's one of the steps that usually price creates before a turn. Ethereum just continues, right? So we're looking for potentially price to bounce a little bit around this level in here, Like we have also this structure. So somewhere around this level, that's where we're looking for Ethereum to bounce from, and then eventually could take these lows, react from here, and continue to the upside. That's just a potential play, but price doesn't even need to break below these lows, to be honest, because we still have this level in here that is still fresh, right? So we can actually delete this in here. So yeah, two levels where price can literally found some support or a demand zone in there, which is in here, maybe at the extreme, and then over there. And in terms of sales, yeah, that level can actually be interesting. Yeah, somewhere in here can actually be quite interesting, to be honest. And then of course above that we also have this this other zone in here, like, because that level I think it was already reacted from. Yeah, but then we do have that left shoulder in there. That's a zone where price can easily also react, and this price already reacted from there. But then we have also the lower edge of the zone, which is this one in here, and that one looks like it's still fresh. Like, consider this push up there, that zone in there, that looks still fresh to me. That's maybe a level that price can react from, unless there's already something in there on one time frame, but that looks nice to me. So maybe somewhere in here, somewhere in there. If not, then price will just go higher into the zone above it, which I believe can actually be the next destination, since price respected these lows in here, basically creating a double bottom without breaking the lows, which make this move more of a potential scenario, right? So we moved to the downside, kind of created this level, broke actually above this in here, moved down, respected that level, kind of move nicely to the upside. We have some bounces in here, but eventually I think price will eventually fake out this level in here and approach this one in there. So that's a little bit more of the Ethereum view at this point, the way price has been moving and where price respected at the lows. Savannah, yeah, not really much to talk about this one in here. Looking at the other FX indices and starting with the Euro index, right? So we had a really strong move to the upside on the Euro. Again, no surprise, right? Again, the data in Eurozone was terrible this morning. In France, in German, and Eurozone overall. So no surprise that we had a big sell-off in here on the Euro index. Again, price basically reacted from this lower edge in there, the structure, and you'll see, like, you'll see how price may react from here. So we had that kind of reversal. That was a nice move. And price took this high into this level. So yeah, that's perfect. We'll see now what's going to happen. Is there anything reaction from here, or is the Euro index finally ready to move lower and eventually target this level in here? So that's something to pay attention to. But before that, we may have one last level in here to be aware of below all these lows. So that can be one of the last zones in here on the Euro index, if by any chance price wants to go there. Yep, and then the end, right? So the end, we had the turn as well. So price, and we talked about it, that we would like to see price breaking or going slightly lower, at least to fake out all these lows in there. I was even looking to go slightly lower, but that level was okay. So we had that one straight away in the morning, and price was already somewhere in here, as I mentioned, slightly far away from the lows that were created, and we had the push up. Price respected that level, but start breaking some highs, came all the way down, all the way back to respect this left shoulder and the demand zone, and now is back into this level. So interesting activity in the yen pairs today, quite active with the yen pair, with the dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen, and so on, even Aussie yen as well. So that's interesting, and let's see if we're going to have a little bit of a turn now in here. So overall, basically these yen pairs are, yeah, still has this strong trend line somewhere in here to pay attention to. Yeah, so we'll see, breaking above it, then starts pushing slightly to the upside again. We talked about that potential retrace. Price had been quite bearish for the last couple of weeks, and 1 week ago basically, and now we were looking for price to start having a little bit of a retrace to the upside until eventually go all the way to fill this range in here. So yeah, we'll see in here on the index, but that looks quite nice. All right, so now looking at individual currency pairs, and let's take a look at what we can look in here for the opportunity today. tomorrow, I mean. All right, so euro dollar, right? So again, strong move to the downside with the news. I don't really like the highs at this point, so I was not really looking for a 7 there. I would like some a little bit higher. Interesting enough, we moved all the way down to respect this demand zone in here. So that's done, accomplished. So that space is done. Again, there's an engulf in here to pay attention to. And we'll see. We'll see price by any chance starts creating some PI and move to downside. It's quite similar to the dollar index, to be honest. Even though maybe this low is not exactly the same as the dollar index. But the retracement and the possibility to go dollar index a little bit more to downside and euro dollar maybe a little bit more to the upside, that's still in there. So we'll see what's going to happen at around this structure. Again, interesting PI. This starts showing some weakness as well. Yeah, but you do have these levels in here. So again, you can even feel all the way this range in there until price potentially can find some longs from here if that's the case. All right, so from here price can actually find some long opportunities. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It's a bit in the middle, so I'm not going to really be making any strong predictions in here. If price gets a bit closer to the extremes, maybe there are opportunities in there to look for, but I do believe there are other pairs to pay attention to instead of the euro dollar. That's going to provide a better opportunity, considering also pound yen, euro pound dollar as one of those scenarios. Pound dollar, if you guys recall, and our bias is still to continue to look for more longs. Okay, so we are still bullish on the pound dollar. Euro dollar is, again, it's kind of okay where it is. It doesn't really need to break the highs from a couple of weeks ago, but the pound dollar is breaking new highs, and I think it's going to continue. It's going to continue to look more bullish in here. All right, so today again with the move to downside, we broke these lows in here, we just reacted into this level, so that's okay. But on the left side, which is what matters in here, and that's why we are still bullish, I don't think the pound dollar has yet reacted from where it should. All right, so now I think it just took these highs, and that was one of the first zones that you were looking for price to take these highs, maybe some reaction from here, and that basically happened. But then eventually we are still looking for pound dollar to go all the way more towards this level in here. To be honest, so yeah, a little bit more room to the upside in here on the pound dollar before properly looking for shorts. Again, there can be some bounces around this structure in here if there's anything in there that price can still react, or any fresh levels in here. Again, don't really like them. There's maybe this one, then price may take this high, go slightly in here, but I would prefer to see pound dollar going slightly higher at this point, and I think that's eventually what's going to happen in here. So yeah, pound dollar, let it continue to go slightly higher in here. We start to break slightly new, kind of a little bit of structure, but this is the zone now that we are reacting. I do like the lows that are being broken. Okay, price basically is taking the demands that are left behind, so that's nice, because eventually what's going to happen is when pound dollar eventually turns and starts properly turning bearish in here, then it's a kind of a free way to just price to drop. All right, because there's not going to be any demand left behind for price to actually respect and move to the upside. If price just continues to move like this, right, that's kind of what we call it compression. If price just continues to respect these levels on the way up, then there's nothing left behind. When price turns, then it's just literally all the way until it finds the next structure. It's going to provide a great future opportunity to look for a sell. The pound for now is just continue to let it run, let it go in here. Euro pound, quite interesting as well, and I think we need to wait for euro pound as well to maybe get into an interesting level. We finally managed to start breaking all these lows in here, and we managed to break this low as well. Right, so today finally managed to break that low, and we are looking for price to maybe have some kind of reaction around this level in here on the left side. So that's one of the zones in here that you are looking for. Just extend this level in here. Oh, damn it. All right, so yes, we did manage to take this low. That's perfect. And now we are looking to see how price may react from here. That's a really higher time frame level. We also have this level in here. So that's kind of an important low on the euro pound. you can start looking, right? So we have this demand zone straight away in here, and that can be one of the first levels. Price hasn't really reacted from it just yet. Okay, so where are we? 1 second. Okay, price broke that low. So we have maybe even this one first. All right, so we may have this demand zone first. Price is still reacting somewhere in there, and then you have the other one in here, right? And then you can even have this one in here as well, which because this one actually has a nice left shoulder as well in there, and it's kind of in alignment with these previous highs in there. So that looks good as well. I'll continue to move to the lower into a lower time frame until I don't have more data. There you go. 5 minutes. I don't have more data in there. So yeah, minimum I can go is 15, and just go back into where we were. Okay, this is where we were. Let's just go back in here into the 30 minutes time frame. Yeah, that one is basically taken. Then is there anything else in here I can look for? Yeah, because we do have this one. That's the low. Yeah, but yes, we do have these two levels in there that we can look for in here as a potential zone for the pound, for the euro pound to react from, and then at that moment we may have as well a little bit of a reaction on the pound dollar to the opposite side, in this case to the downside. So those are definitely levels to pay attention to in here. On the euro pound, at least some kind of reaction I would like to see happening. All right. Yep, just keep an eye on it. As you can see, price is still a little bit far away from that demand zone, which is in here. So we will see. Price starts compressing. It took a little bit of that high. Again, as a target, just looking for the previous level support resistance can be reasonable. So we have that one. Price is bouncing quite a lot, and then you have all the way maybe a little bit more into that zone. So that eventually could be a target. All right, maybe price can just react from here to here, first of all. All right. If price starts breaking above it, like it did in here, then you can start looking for price perhaps to go all the way into this level. So that's just something to look at in here on euro pound. I'm going to start, it starts to be on my radar again. Aussie just continue to go higher. Okay, so we're testing those highs. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting day with the interest rate decision. And we may go all the way through. Again, we mentioned that price respected quite nicely these lows, and the possibility can be to go eventually take all of these highs in here. But we will see. We will see if there's anything. Again, we mentioned that there was still a level in there, to be honest. Where is it? Right, there's maybe a little bit of destruction here that price could still respect. Otherwise, price will go just all the way above these highs. Yeah, all of a sudden you have a double top in here, to be honest, and you can actually start targeting slightly higher on this. Yep, in here on the Aussie, sorry, the Aussie dollar. But you'll see, one step at a time in here. Tomorrow morning we'll see where we're going to be at with interest rate decision. We could eventually go all the way. I do like this level in here, the potential zone for price to react from. And if price eventually wants to turn in here, then if it doesn't even stop there, then you're looking for a bigger trade in there. But for now, it's still quite bullish, and we need to see some lows being broken in here. Euro Aussie continues to move to the downside. Like that was another move that we were looking for. A price kind of bounced a little bit from here, but this was a key level that price needed to break to the upside. Otherwise, it would just continue. And as you can see here, this low was not even that important, to be honest. Just in the middle of nothing, since price actually wants to go slightly lower and eventually target this level in here into the zone below it. So there you go. We managed to break these lows. Maybe a bit more of a continuation to the downside as Aussie dollar goes higher, until eventually we can start looking for a turn in here. All right, so again, that will be perhaps somewhere in there. Doesn't mean that price or this euro Aussie to just move to downside in a straight line. Doesn't really mean that. We may have a little bit of a bounce here, and now they start breaking this low, and we may have or looking for a potential compression in here. And if euro Aussie does want to go and turn to the upside from somewhere around this level. Otherwise, yeah, price may just continue to move down. So I'd like to start seeing some weakness. Yeah, in this case, some strength on the Euro Aussie. Yeah, Pound Aussie basically the same thing. Even though Pound Aussie, as we know, with the Pound, which is quite slightly stronger, is not really moving as much downside as the Euro Aussie, right? That's something to be aware of. And then we have Aussie Yen, right? So this was another one with Yen pairs. So we are getting closer to a little bit of that structure in there. We're kind of reacting several times from this level in here. We did manage to break a low in here. That's interesting. Our price kind of reacting from the demand zone. We broke new highs again. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can have a little bit of a move down. But let's see from where overall. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how price may react from here. Like, it would be interesting actually if price would make a little bit of a leg down in here, potentially before continuing to the upside in there. But we'll see. In here on the Aussie Yen is something definitely to pay attention to. Yeah, it does look interesting. I think we could go higher a little bit more, or we take out the structure. But I don't really see anything standing out in here, to be honest. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on the Aussie Yen. Not turning bearish yet in here. Yeah, not yet. On the dollar yen, beautiful, right? So we fake out these highs. Basically, that's an engulf to the upside for me. But before maybe we continue to move higher, we may make this retracement, right? And you may have a few levels in here that price and the dollar yen may wants to go towards too. So there you go. Initially we did manage to break below that low. This move was actually when the dollar index was quite strong. So just another example of how these yen pairs have been so correlated. Like, dollar yen doesn't even care about the dollar at this point, just cares about what the yen is doing. Then you had the correction, and now the move to downside, right? So that was a nice reaction from here. Basically, this level in here holding price again. I see it as an engulf to the upside, but before that, we may have a move lower before the continuation in here, and the move lower can even go all the way, perhaps closer to this level. So yeah, maybe short term we can turn a little bit bearish in here on dollar yen, especially if we start breaking a bit more of that low. Yeah, I think we could see that this already broke that level, so we can start looking for a bigger move in here. We can even retest again something around that level once again. Yeah, so nice move in here. Euro yen as well, kind of that initial strong move to downside. There you go, as I mentioned, kind of the turn happening kind of at around 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. Despite if we got that level, we're still respecting that zone in here, and all of a sudden clearing out the initial space that we had in here. Like, basically that was the initial space, and price just filled that level, and we'll see now how price may react from here. If it goes long from here or starts breaking and it wants to move to the downside, right? This is not a bad level where the euro yen has reacted in here for a potential move further down. So that's a possibility in here. All right. On the end, slightly different. Did manage to fake out the high as well. Is getting really close to that high. You managed to break some lows in here without really retesting this level. So this starts to show a little bit of a reversal. But again, pound pairs are quite strong. But once again, it's more following what the yen pairs are doing than the pound. But as you can see, it's one of the only, in addition with the Aussie as well. Pound yen was the other one that managed to break this high. Euro yen doesn't really manage to break that, neither dollar yen. Now we are getting really close to this high in here, so that's going to be interesting to see if we are going to find more sell opportunities or sell pressure at around that level as you approach it, now that you start breaking these lows in here as well. Yeah, I'm going to be looking for that for sure. Yeah, I want price to go a little bit more to the upside, and depending on how price may react from here, you may find a short opportunity in here. Yeah, let it get a bit more exhausted. Yeah, Cadian as well, something that we talked about, right? He got really close to this high, still respected. We want to see that high being faked out, and then a potential move down in here, or eventually to fill out that range, right? We managed to fake out these lows in here, so we'll see if we're going to have something like that in here, or if price eventually breaks this low and starts looking for something in there. And then the CAD pairs, right? CAD pairs are super bearish today. Alright, so we finally had a move on the dollar CAD after that range for a couple of weeks. We finally had the move after the fake out. So we initially broke the lows, and then we fake out the highs into that structure, and now we are looking again, bigger picture. We have been bearish. Okay, we mentioned that in our opinion, dollar CAD managed to break into this compression, which means that this low broke that low into this level, and eventually looking for the dollar CAD to go all the way and fill this price in here. So that's our take. Now, we did have that initial reaction that was one of the last month zones that was fresh within this compression, the bigger picture. So we had that initial nice and interesting reaction in here. Second, just do it right, and now we may have that continuation, right? So let's see how price may react a bit from this level. It looks like it's not managing to hold dollar CAD, which has been literally quite aggressively moving to downside. It left this level in here behind. I think there's an interesting potential level in there that price can still eventually react from and bounce from, somewhere in there. All right, but price apparently just managed to go all the way, broke this low, and continues to create this range until now it gained all this momentum. And in here, is there anything capable of holding dollar CAD? We'll see. For now, he's targeting this low, and then we'll see what's going to happen. Again, with the possibility, and the bigger picture is more for a continuation to the downside in here. The other CAD pairs and Euro CAD as well, we did such a negative news in the Eurozone. It was also a really strong move. Again, we have been bearish. This for us is an engulf to downside. Again, question mark, it will be, it was from here or it will be somewhere from there. Apparently this level continues to hold. That was another good pattern that we saw, kind of price holding, starts breaking lows. We have that final fake out, and then price now breaking completely to the downside, again targeting at least this level in here, and with the possibility, as we described, of price even going further down in here. But really aggressive move to downside in here on the Euro CAD, again with the news today, and then another strong move to the upside, or strong CAD, which is basically pushing CAD to downside. That's basically what we have in here. Yeah, so let it continue to go. Yeah, just let it continue to go. Right, again, another one that we have been looking for, and our price is delivering it. And then the pound CAD as well, which is also moving to downside, but as we described, pound is slightly stronger than the euro, for example, and that's why pound CAD is not moving as much to the downside as the euro CAD. We did manage to break in this compression, so eventually the expectation is to see price filling this price in here. But we may even fake out all the way until here, because basically price never really reacted from that structure. It's reacting from this level in here. So we have this level basically left behind, and maybe even some of the extremes as well in here. But that's just something to bear in mind in here. I did manage even to break this one more time, so yeah, you'll see. But eventually the expectation now is for price to get closer to this level. Okay, now this is information that we are sharing in terms of, imagine that you want to trade any of these pairs, like CAD or Aussie or whatever it may be, against either the euro or the pound. The euro pairs have provided a much better sell opportunity. Like, again, because of the weakness and the strength of the pound and the weakness on the euro. So that's how you can position yourself as well, in terms of you can choose which one of you want to trade. Dollar franc Swiss, it starts to go slightly higher again, still ranging in between these levels, so it continues within the range. So we'll see what's going to happen in here. At this point, I don't really like the lows anymore. I do see this one as an engulf up, but maybe it could go slightly lower first before making that turn. We had gold starts to slow down. All right, gold starts to slow down, which means that we will be getting closer to potential retrace in here. This was a nice move, a nice fake out in here of this one, and kind of that typical move that we have. We start having those lows in here. The demand was fresh. Price break the lows. Many people started to look for shorts around this level, and then they got literally stopped out in here. But this is a demonstration that price and gold are starting to lose momentum. Right, so eventually we may have a little bit of a retracement. Can even go all the way towards this zone, which can actually look quite interesting, to be honest, or potentially continue. But you may have, we're getting closer to that turn. That's something that we can start tracking in here on gold. Then you have also silver, which is kind of still respecting a little bit that structure that we had in there. Again, I'm still looking eventually to get into this level, but there you go. Like, it's another one starts to lose a little bit of momentum, shows some weakness in here, not really managing to break highs and just continue. Nope, breaks highs and kind of comes back into the level again. So that's nice. It's nice to see price losing some momentum in here. And then you had oil, right? And that was a great move. Look at it. It just respect the target in here at the month zone. So the initial move, as you could see, is that we had this range. Right? We start breaking some lows, but then kind of respect that level and then breaking new lows in here as well in this mid range that we had in here. And then today, just a small fake out. Beautiful. We're towards 2. We have a strong level of support resistance in here, also a strong zone in there, and that's exactly where price reacted from. Apparently it's finding some resistance at this 72.68 or something like that, and then it had a strong turn. Like, that's what I mentioned before. When we start having every single demand zone being taken, then price is just free to literally drop all the way to where into whatever the next space is available. And the space available at this point, it was in here. This was already break, so that was that demand zone, and you have the reaction. And now we'll see, right? Because we did manage to break some lows in here, so we'll see if oil wants to now go further down or not. This was literally the last demand zone that was still fresh. In here, everything is basically compressed, and then you start looking for that one and compression again, and all of a sudden you can go even much further down in here. But yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen on oil, and I'm curious to see how price eventually is going to do it, the approach into that level, because in the bigger picture, yes, this is a really strong level of support resistance, but price could eventually continue to move to the upside as well. Price, if this level in here doesn't really stop price without this structure, then you're looking for price to go higher. Yeah, and that's basically what we have. We can look at Brent as well. Brent hasn't really managed to fake out that high. Didn't even manage to fake out that one, just fake out this one in here, kind of respecting the same demand zone in here. So on Brent, maybe there's a little bit more room to the upside into this level. Yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on, to track as well. That's it in terms of what we have. So continuation to the upside a little bit, maybe, or to downside on the dollar index, a little bit of the upside, especially on the pound pairs. Yen pairs, I think they could start turning from where it is. And we fake out those lows, and I think the yen pair, the yen index can start moving upwards, which means that we can start seeing more sell pressure on the individual yen pairs, dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen. Again, euro is weaker than the pound at this point, and you may have a turn. And one of the pairs to look at for that is actually the euro pound, as we are getting really closer to an interesting level in here. That can be something to pay attention to as price starts to approach this level. So that's on my radar, but that's not yet for tomorrow. Indices, yeah, just flatted range a little bit. We'll see. As I mentioned, Nasdaq, I still wanted to go a bit more to the upside, fake out all those highs before a turn. Maybe that happens tomorrow. We'll see. And that's basically it. Yen pairs looking for potential shorts. CAD just continues to short, so I'm not really going to fight it at this point, just to let it move to downside. We were bearish since last week, especially on Euro CAD, Pound CAD, and also Dollar CAD. Now the move is happening, so let it go. Aussie and the Aussie pairs, we'll see. We have the interest rate decision overnight, so we'll see where we are. We're going to be at Aussie dollar, which is at the highs as well, so we'll see. in there. And that's it for tomorrow. Yeah, expecting more volatility, expecting more pure almost price action trading in here, which yeah, which is interesting. At this point, the market is still maybe trying to decide which direction does it want to go from the decision last week with the rate cut. Is it the long dollar? Is it the bearish dollar? The indices is also quite indecisive as well. I think it's going to continue to be data dependent. So as the data continues to come out, I think eventually the market's going to start making their own decisions. All right. With that being said, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care. Bye bye. Obrigado.